We begin tonight with the latest on the investigation into a massive apartment fire in Southwest Portland. Thank you for joining us. I'm Blair Best. Many people are still without a home after a fire destroyed the May apartments on Southwest 14th and Taylor Street Tuesday morning. Let's bring in Daisy Caballero. And Daisy, fire crews are now using new technology to try and figure out the cause.
Yeah, Blair, it's very, very fascinating. And we're told that this technology is something more agencies are working to learn and adopt right now.
We're taking our students from an entry level and teaching them to be professional pilots.
Scappoose Fire Chief Jeff Pritcher is leading a 2-week aviation course at Powell Butte Nature Park, teaching state government and land management agencies alongside law enforcement and fire officials how to fly drones and obtain their FAA commercial drones license and more.
Teaches them aeronautical decision making, crew resource management, and safety management systems, which are the pillars of a successful aviation program.
Scappoose Fire has been flying drones since 2015. Since then, it created its aviation program, a first of its kind in Columbia County. And after the 2-week program, some students will go through additional training to obtain a waiver that will allow them to fly up to 1,200 feet compared to the 400 FAA limit across the entire state of Oregon.
Our goal is to build a trust climate with the crewed aviation community as well as the public, so they don't think we're just out here playing with toys.
Just this past week, Pritcher assisted Portland Fire with a drone to map out a 2D and 3D picture of the scene that will help investigators pinpoint where the May Apartments fire started. This is the 3D imagery they'll be providing on the May Apartments building.
And then we're going to do some very specific photos to help enhance one of the areas of interest that the fire investigators have.
Scappoose Fire used the same drone tech at the Portland Korean Church fire back in February, but it doesn't stop at commercial buildings. This new technology will soon help wildfire crews map out the perimeter of the fire and help direct water resources. They also expect to help investigators with major car crashes. Now, Portland Fire and Rescue says it will continue the investigation at the May Apartments through at least Wednesday, maybe even through the end of next week. The agency is planning to send an investigator inside the building to complete the scene examination on Tuesday. Blair?
All right, Daisy, thank you. Well, speaking of fire safety, we're looking ahead at the incoming wildfire season. Firefighters say that despite it being lush and green in Portland, they're on high alert as our climate changes. Now, across the region, departments like Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue are doing what they can now to fight wildfires this year. They also want to help everyone protect their homes and communities. At the World Forestry Center's Discovery Museum, Portland Fire and the State Fire Marshal's Office held a special event to educate people.
With the drought conditions we've been seeing and the change in the fire behavior in Oregon, the Portland area is very much, at risk for a possible wildfire to start. And if it did, when and if it does happen, it could be very catastrophic.
Now, fire officials say with our changing climate, it's important to know how best to protect our homes and prepare for wildfires. Well, a 911 dispatcher from Portland just won a big award. Stephen Zipprich was named the 911 Dispatcher of the Year in a competition with 50 other nominees from across North America. Tim Gordon has his story.
911.
At Portland's Bureau of Emergency Communications, thousands of calls come in, many of them involving life or death situations.
Okay, what's the address?
For 10 years, Stephen Zipprich has been taking calls and dispatching help with BOIC. Systems and protocols have changed, but the senior dispatcher has always kept this in mind.
You never know what you're going to get, but remembering that the person on the other end of the phone matters, and that they deserve my compassion and my empathy. And
it's that kind of caring put into action on the job that got Zipprich nominated for 911 Dispatcher of the Year, one of 51 nominees out of tens of thousands of dispatchers across North America. That got him a trip to a conference in Denver last month for the International Academies of Emergency Dispatch. That's where he heard a call he took that exemplified his work.
I heard my voice come through the speakers, and that's when I knew that I had won, and it was very emotional.
It's a big deal for a humble guy like Steven Zipprich.
I'm honored. I'm honored that I was honored that I got nominated.
But much more important than the trophy is what Zipprich was able to do that helped him earn it, helping save the life of a suicidal woman who was intentionally overdosing, but then she called for help.
You have a knife? All right. Is your breathing normal for you?
Zipprich, along with a suicide crisis counselor, was able to help the woman hang on. The call went on for about 20 minutes before police and paramedics took over, with the life-saving already well underway on the phone.
You said that you want me to not let you die today, and I don't want that to happen. So I would really like for you to stay where you are so that help can get to you and can find you.
For work like that, the honor is great.
The date's on here, actually April 18th of this year.
Still, for Zipprich, the reward comes not from a trophy.
But if I went my entire career in 911 communications and never got this, I would still be proud of the work that I do, that I get to help people every day.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.
Wow, what an inspiring story. Well, turning now to the weather, a cool and cloudy end to the weekend. And as temperatures drop from what we have been seeing, we'll check in with Joe Ranieri. And Joe, what can we expect heading into the work week?
Very comfortable conditions. This might sound sad, but today kind of made me missing fall. It didn't quite feel like fall, but the cool and cloudy conditions, I think, were kind of a welcome relief for some. Of course, today now ends our streak of 9 days with temperatures 80 or above. And in that streak, of course, we're a few days with temperatures 90 or above. Now, we set a record, talked about this yesterday, so far this May with temperatures, 5 days with temperatures 90 or above. No 90s in the forecast going into the work week, but we are looking at some sunny skies along the Oregon coast over in Lincoln City. And that cloud cover never really left us here in the metro area, pretty thick, and we haven't really seen any rain, but again, the clouds were sitting over us a good part of the day, and it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing much of that clearing. What we are going to be seeing is more active weather along the central and eastern side of the state, especially throughout the southeastern pocket of Oregon, along the Idaho, even the Nevada border, with some severe weather, heavy downpours, and some hail, and some windy conditions. But here on the west side of the state, Blair, it's going to be pretty lovely as we head into the work week. Again, the last full week of May, or I should say full work week, if that made sense. I know I kind of bumbled that, but whatever. We are going to be seeing some pleasant conditions. I do have a bit of a warm up heading into the middle part of this week. I'll talk more about that in about 10 minutes from now.
All right, Joe, thanks so much. Well, take a look at this incredible rescue by the U.S. Coast Guard Friday. The aircrew stationed in Astoria helped a man believed to be having a stroke while on a cruise ship. Now, the ship was about 100 miles off the shore of Astoria. The Coast Guard was able to take the man to a life flight aircrew in Warrenton. He was then taken to OHSU in Portland. Well, a local organization is celebrating the 20th anniversary of its biggest mental health awareness event in Oregon. NAMI Walks Northwest held its event earlier today at Peninsula Park in North Portland. The event brings together people with lived experience of mental illness, their loved ones, and their advocates. Now, along with a walk, there were also baby goats, therapy dogs, and live music. NAMI Oregon is part of the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization. And today was also the 12th annual Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. It was held on East Burnside at 9 this morning. This event helps raise awareness for men's mental health, suicide prevention, and prostate cancer. In total, 94 countries around the world participated, but all the money raised in the U.S. goes to a men's mental health organization. Now, a talented local student could soon have her art featured on Google's homepage for hundreds of millions to see. Ruthie Rahau is a student at Tumwater Middle School in Northwest Portland. She was selected as the Doodle for Google winner in Oregon for the 6th and 7th grade category. This year's theme was, "What are you grateful for?" Her response is time she spends with her younger sister. The drawing shows them playing a board game, and she says she wasn't expecting to make it this far in the competition.
I actually did not think I would win, since nothing has really happened to me like this before. So yes, it struck me as quite surprising, and I was excited.
Wow. Well, if you want to support her submission, you can vote at doodleforgoogle.com. Voting closes this Thursday. 5 finalists will then be chosen to compete for the big prize of becoming the next Google homepage art.